found the Texas Steampunk Connection, your source for steampunk event information in the great free state of Texas.
We also discuss books, films, comics, and games.
Also, we enjoy visiting with the local steampunk luminaries.
I'm Flavio.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Thax,
your hosts.
Thank you for tuning in, and now on to the episode.
Welcome, Texas Steampunk Connection, Season 2, Episode 13. Not coming to you live, not coming to you direct, but instead recorded and edited for your listening pleasure. Now, you may have noticed that we're a little behind schedule, but there's a reason for that. We went on an adventure this weekend, the day we were supposed to be recording. Isn't that right, guys?
I would rather go on adventures than record this any day.
Well, we have to have something to record about.
Right. It's just real awkward when we just sit here and talk about nothing, which we have done.
Yes, and
almost all the time, really.
that's what we do. That's what podcasts are. Well, my podcast is anyway.
It's true.
So what did we do? We became film stars, sort of.
Extras.
Kind of. Extras.
Extra film stars.
We were in the background for a very low budget, no budget. It was a student film.
Yeah. One of the UT graduates probably still is making a short fan film based on Into the Badlands, an AMC movie
TV show,
CV's station original show. Right.
And Into the Badlands, well, shall we talk about the adventure first or Into the Badlands?
I don't care.
You don't care.
Let's talk about what we did first. Sure.
Okay, so we went out early morning Sunday morning. So
early. Oh,
so early.
So they wanted us there at 9, and it was like an hour away. And I am not used to getting up at 7 in the morning.
It really wasn't an hour away. Not really.
I had to come pick you up.
Oh, that's true. But it was on the way.
Yeah.
Well, first off, our friend Lisa Turner, who was on our podcast earlier,
hi, Lisa,
put out a call for extras on Facebook.
Yeah. She really sort of drove the extra wrangling.
Yep, she called out for steampunk extras, dust punk, post-apocalyptic punk, and we answered the call.
Well, they stated up front they were looking for steampunks to be extras in their show. I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
I never watched this program. I just knew that I needed to show up in a park in my steampunk gear,
but not the dandy.
Well, I didn't. That was the only direction they gave.
Yeah. Not dandy. Yeah. More post-apocalyptic, not dandy.
I didn't see that.
Well, because I asked what flavor is steampunk, and she answered more post-apocalyptic, dust pump, not dandy.
Oh. Well, I don't have that.
I know. Well, you have a cowboy hat.
Oh, shit. Whoopee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we get up early Sunday morning, which I don't normally do.
No, me neither.
No.
Not even for work.
And it's already warm, getting warmer, getting hotter. As we get out there.
Yeah, the temperatures this week, it got to 104.
I know. It was bad.
It had just rained Saturday evening, so I was hoping it would be a little cooler. Yeah.
Not so lucky.
It could have been worse, but it could have been better.
Right. And I made the unfortunate decision to wear my duster and a leather vest.
You looked fantastic.
Yes, but I did look good. Thank you.
It's more important to look good than to feel good.
Yes, for
darling,
sure.
Yes. And we did look good. And we did not feel good.
No. What we learned was making films is hard. Even for extras. Even for the extras.
Just the take after take after take of the same thing.
Now, I didn't know it was based on Into the Badlands from the Facebook event or anything. I mean, I know it said Badlands on there, but I didn't make the connection to the TV show until I got there, and I saw like the main fighter guy, that's his main character, dressed up.
Same jacket as that guy in that show.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. And then next thing I know, what they're talking about Into the Badlands. Like, aha, I guessed it right.
And I said, I guess I have to watch that show. So I don't know anything about it.
Oh, but it was overall a fun time. The main character, I guess he's actually has a martial arts. Well, he knows martial arts, and he did the choreography.
Okay.
For the fight scene that you were in. Yeah, Thax was in the fight scene. He got killed.
I was one of those dying extras, so that was extra fun.
Yeah, Thax died at unobtainium too. I think he's being typecast.
Yeah. But you found your calling, Thax, the dying guy.
I had to fall down over and over and over.
Well, you fell on a mat.
Sometimes.
Eventually,
Eventually.
they drag the mat over. You don't look so well. You want this mat?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
And once again, you sacrifice for the art. They did the mat for the close-up shot because they weren't going to. They wouldn't get the mat in the picture.
And now we've got to take that coat to the dry cleaners.
I got a lot of real movie dirt on my clothes, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yep. And we have no idea when this is going to be shown or where or
Yes,
how
we
or
do.
why we do. Oh, awesome.
Oh yeah, they advertised that this was for an entry in the Austin Indie Fest,
Oh, okay.
which is at www.austinindie.fest.com. I haven't been there,
Right.
and I imagine there's really nothing there to see yet because people are still making their.
So it's going to be at Indie Fest. Is there a date? Is there a date?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, look for Austin Indie Fest, and we'll find
I'm
out.
sure we'll keep you posted on our show because we want you to see our smiling faces.
Right. I was in the background trying to look like I was wanting to jump in the fight, but
You
not
were-
quite getting in there.
You were standing over with these two beautiful, well-dressed
Yes.
young ladies.
Oh yeah, they were very attractive women.
which was way better than just standing over here with the thugs like I was, getting thrown on the ground every 5 minutes.
Yep.
You want to trade spots?
Nope. Too late now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, you know,
Okay.
it's not like I mean, made any kind of impression on them or anything. You know, so they were out of there as soon as they could. But I don't blame them because it was freaking hot.
And what we didn't realize until a couple of days later is the park was full of chiggers. So, and
Yep.
I guess there's some sort of delay before those welts start to rise. But Monday, so it's 2 days later. No, we filmed on
Next day.
Sunday. Yeah, next day, suddenly I started itching.
Yep. I started itching last
Itching
night.
everywhere.
But not so bad as you, because I wasn't rolling around on the ground.
Yeah. Jerk. I could not sleep last night. Oh, it was such a fascinating experience being into movies.
Right.
Nature.
So I mean, yeah, they did take after take after take with different angles and views and everything, and we had to try to repeat the same thing we did every time.
Because that's how you make movies.
Right. Exactly.
I get it.
And the
but,
main director guy, he turned himself into an extra as well because apparently he stepped in for someone who didn't show up, and he got killed as well and was throwing himself at me, so I had to catch him so he wouldn't fall flat on his face or run into a tree or something. So I kept doing that. That wasn't so bad. You know, I don't know if he was flirting with me or not, but but he was a nice guy.
Dante Cuevas, according to his Facebook page, that was Dante falling into your arms.
Over and over again.
Oh, who says romance is dead? I kept thinking back on it because I went back and watched Badlands this week.
You mean for the first time? You saw it?
Right, to see what the heck this was supposed to be like.
Right.
And I kept thinking, if I just had more time, I could have made better costumes for those guys.
Yeah.
And maybe some
But he had no budget.
some weapon props, I don't know. I could have done a little some.
Well, maybe you can talk to him for later projects. You can help him out.
Meh. Oh well.
But too late now. But yeah, I mean, they had some prop weapons that they were fighting with, And
Yeah,
I had a real knife, but I couldn't use it, obviously, and I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to hold it while I was catching the guy.
Yeah, there were a few real knives there. I'm like, whoa, somebody's gonna get stabbed.
Nobody got stabbed. It's
Nobody got
okay.
stabbed.
I got stabbed, and then I fell down, over and over.
Right. Apparently the boom mic is really sensitive because they can hear like planes flying overhead and people talking off in the distance, and everyone's like, hold on, we gotta wait for the noise to stop, and so
Crying
we all
babies.
stand there in the heat. Yeah.
Yeah. That baby was better behaved than anyone should expect a baby to be. So
Yeah, he didn't seem that bad. He cried on
No.
occasion, but not constantly.
no,
or
I
too much.
think of all the unwanted distractions out there, the frisbee golfers that kept walking in and going,
You guys have a permit? Are you with the county? Why are you here? Why are you blocking our form?
Did they really do that?
yes, there
Wow,
were-
I didn't realize that was happening.
Yeah, these jackasses kept trying to walk through where y'all were filming, and and they were assured, yes, that there has been a permit obtained. We do have a permit to film here. We have reserved this area of the park. You can fuck off now.
Right, you're just a stupid frisbee golfer.
But they were.
Let's tell you where you can go.
I had always pictured frisbee golf as sort of a, peaceful,
Laid back.
cannabis-inspired sport.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I was really shocked and surprised to find such abject hostility from these people.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Little type A personalities, man.
Yep. In 2 different parks, back when you and I played boffer LARPing, we played basically in the middle of a frisbee golf
That's true.
route, and all the time we got into altercations with the frisbee golfers. They were always dicks.
All right, frisbee golfers, smoke up and chill out.
Right, definitely chill out, man.
And I've never seen like a frisbee golfer, they've got their little bag of effing frisbees.
Yeah.
The one time I went golfing, like I brought a cooler because I wasn't there to win frisbee golf trophies. I was there to drink beer.
Yeah, I went frisbee golfing once with another friend of mine, and we didn't even get to the whole course. We were like, he's like, oh, look at the time, I gotta go.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's an excuse to wander around in the woods drinking beer. Who cares?
I don't even know. I don't even think I did any very good at it anyway. So whatever. But I'm really surprised to find out that they were hostile. I did not realize that. I saw a couple of them come through.
Yeah, we managed to fend off most of them before they interrupted the filming. But
I remember a couple of guys walking through, and I'm like walking like right very near them, like about 5 feet away, looking at them, and they're like looking at the ground. They're not making eye contact with anybody. They're just walking straight through.
Just keep going.
Wow, they had really weird
Vibe?
body language to them. They were just like really, don't look at me, don't touch me.
Like they were guilty of something, or
Like they were in hostile territory. Like we were going to get them.
to be fair, they had just walked past a woman who was breastfeeding and a woman who was, putting her petticoats up about her head and trying to stay cool. So they were
What's
well
their
freaked
problem?
out by the time they got to y'all.
Boobers and vagoobers.
oh,
Hooray!
what's not to like?
I was wearing bloomers, so just to be clear on this, there was no vagoober on my part.
Yeah, so this is based on a TV show called Into the Badlands. not the boobers
Into the
and
boobers.
but and I think they're starting like season 3 soon, or they're working on season 3 now. I think there's only been 2 seasons. I've watched both seasons when they came out. I actually just watched the first few episodes to catch up to find out
I watched them today just to figure out what the heck we did this weekend.
Right. And honestly, when I first saw it, I didn't really think steampunk myself either. It is definitely a post-apocalyptic show.
And Erica hasn't seen it at all, so we're going to get to sort of describe it to you.
Oh, hooray.
And so I wrote down some notes on the way
notes.
over
How
here.
professional.
Okay. So the genre is kung fu. It's a kung fu show.
The main character is
a good solid 50% of the show.
The main character is a big martial artist in real life.
People jumping around and stabbing each other.
Okay.
And they use wire works like in the old kung fu movies.
And they do a pretty good job. So that's the genre, okay? And then the setting is a very post-apocalyptic dystopia.
And they're not really clear about how far in the future it is or what the apocalypse was.
But here's the kicker. The theme is the antebellum South.
Yeah, with barons.
So there's these what do I want to say? Plantation owners.
Okay.
Who are the barons? They're the powerful, rich, influential guys who also know kung fu.
Right. They have to survive.
And then they have these. Well, the one that we're following at the beginning of the show, that I watch, he's got these huge poppy fields with slaves that are working the fields.
That are called cogs.
Yeah, so it's steampunk.
Yes. I don't know.
And it's not a racial thing. It's just rich people and poor people, but they're still slaves.
Gotcha.
Versus the rich landowners, which the few that I've seen so far are totally white and have southern accents.
Yes.
So that part, I mean, solid antebellum South in a post-apocalyptic kung fu wasteland. So, what do you think of my description so far?
Okay, so when you're reading a piece of literature or watching a movie, and you've got your standards of what is steampunk, what are your standards of steampunk?
So we've talked about this. It's in season 1 a few times.
Right.
We've got Victorian themes.
Okay.
Victorian aesthetic, the visual cues and themes.
Okay, so does this show have any bustles or hats or goodie bits?
Some.
Okay, all right. So there's some costume aspects visually.
Yeah.
Some of the women they wear bustles and corsets and stuff like that, and the men some of the men are wearing hats and vests and dressed up.
Okay.
Long coats.
long coats.
And do they do like Victorian style etiquette cotillion bullshit?
No,
Okay.
No.
nothing like that.
Okay, so they've got a look, but they don't have the Victorian manners or the.
It's not a hard Victorian, but
Okay,
there's,
all right. So that's one.
there are cues that they pull in.
All right, so two.
2 would be science fiction, weird gadgets and sciencey gewgaws, and
There's not
that
really a
sort of
lot
thing.
of that, really.
no, I'm going to say no to that entirely.
They have, they use swords and
One of the
hand-
rules
hand
is
weapons and anything.
there are no guns
Yep.
whatsoever, which is kind of important when you're trying to establish a kung fu basis.
right, because guns will ruin everything.
Guns break it.
Yeah,
Okay.
But there's not any other like weird.
No
science
lightning
stuff.
guns or steam.
nope, nothing like that. Yeah,
Rail
The main
guns or
character
anything
gets
like that.
gets a motorcycle, where everybody else gets horses.
yeah.
Okay.
And later on in the show, there's a car.
It's not a
every once in
weird,
Fuel.
weird
Yeah.
motorcycle. As far as we can tell, it's just
a regular
gasoline,
motorcycle,
diesel,
yeah.
something along those
Yeah,
lines.
and there are later in the future in the show there are a couple of cars here and there, but there's regular gasoline, old beat up cars.
Okay.
there are kind of classic cars,
Kinda.
but like 1930s
Yeah.
gangster looking cars. So,
All right. So not really.
Yeah.
And the third steampunk trope.
dystopia or anti-establishment themes.
So
Okay.
that's kind of there
And yeah, that's there.
because the whole show centers around basically bringing down the barons and the
All right.
So we got to bring down the barons.
Down with the aristocracy.
Yeah, pretty
Funny
much,
though, but like you said, even though it sort of hits all 3 of those
of our definition.
check boxes, it doesn't feel steampunk particularly.
Right. That's why. When I first watched it, I never thought to myself, "Hey, this is a steampunk show." I just thought it's a pretty cool kung fu, show.
Yeah.
And then what's the fourth?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it. There's just
And
three.
and in fact, we generally say
2 out of
2
3.
out of 3 is good enough.
But for some reason, this one still just doesn't
It doesn't feel
quite
like
make it.
Yeah. I would say
Because I think it's focused more on the
steampunk-
fighting.
Yeah, steampunk is not a goal they set out. We want to make a steampunk style show, and
No, they want to make a martial arts show. Mm-hmm. It's what they want to do, and the martial arts are excellent in this show. I mean, their choreography is awesome. They even do the wire works like in the kung fu movies, with people jumping around off the things and everything. So I mean, it's really good, well choreographed, and I really enjoy the fight scenes. And the main character is what they call a clipper, which is what the guy in the film that we were in was supposed to be, and he's basically the enforcer for the barons.
he's a samurai.
A samurai, essentially a samurai. And one of the, I don't know if you saw it, but for every person they officially kill for the baron or whatever, they put a big tattoo on their body to keep count.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting. So they established that.
Yes, they all do it.
First, second episode.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've only watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and the number of people he's killed could cover his body in tattoos again already.
Yeah, probably. Maybe it's the thickness of the tattoo. I don't know. But apparently, I mean, he's one of the better ones. He has one of the up there in the highest amount of kills. The main character. So.
He kind of reminds me of Rob Stark in that he's like totally loyal to his baron in spite of his baron being a schlub.
Right. Okay. I was about to, first when you said Stark, I was thinking Iron Man.
No. Game
Other
of Thrones.
Starks.
Game of Thrones Stark.
Other branch of the family.
which just started its latest season. I don't even watch the show anymore, but
Right.
But he's very loyal to a fault.
You're right.
Rob Stark, a Stark kind of thing. I kept thinking, it's established that his baron is sort of terrible, and he's dying. is like, he could just kill him and call and make himself the Baron.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do that.
But if you have a code of honor, that's the sort of thing that you don't do.
If you were a Baron, that's the sort of thing that you do. I mean, it's established like he's dying and he's got a son, but his son is a boob.
Samuel Tarly.
And
yeah.
you know, it said, you know, you're not going to be the Baron when I go.
Yeah, you're not strong enough. Yeah,
you're a dipshit.
In order to become a Baron, you have to be a badass kung fu fighter yourself as well.
Or the other Barons will just eat your lunch.
Yeah, I mean, personally, you have to be a fighter.
They'll send your clippers to get you.
Yeah, and they have, and they do, and you fight them off.
Okay.
And boom, there's a show.
Okay.
Right. And there's one Baron that's totally female. She's a female Baron, and all her enforcer clippers, they're girls, and she calls them the butterflies. One of their weapons is like these shuriken type weapons that are butterfly shaped, and they're
pretty.
Those.
What's a shuriken?
A throwing star, Chinese throwing star.
Oh, okay.
Ninja star.
Ninja star.
Okay. La la la.
And they wear Japanese robes type stuff for the most part. So,
but they're not Japanese.
No, they're not.
They're white women.
Very mixed. Well, there's a few other colored races in there as well, not just all whites.
Well, the
Baron.
The Baron.
Is, yeah.
The Baroness. What do they call her?
My mind just went blank. I don't remember.
Yeah, but she's a redheaded, pasty white woman.
Who's also a kick-ass fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, white people. Why do they screw everything up? God damn it, white people.
So anyway, we were in a student film based on that show, and we're basically filming a fight scene for the most part. So there's other parts of this film that we haven't seen.
I don't even know what the plot is.
Right. One
of the actors off, when we were off camera, tried to sort of explain it, and I don't think they even knew. Like, the director is the only one who has the entire script. He's the only one who knows how this is all going to come together.
I'm hoping he's there for during the editing then, so he can get it all figured out.
Well, I hope so too.
Yeah. 'Cause that's what directors do, right?
So I'm told.
So we had a good time, even though it was hot and miserable out there.
It chiggers.
Actually, toward the end there, I was not having such a good time. I was getting kind of flushed from the heat.
Yeah.
But luckily, we ended, I think, just at the right time, and we were let go.
Yeah, the shoot was supposed to be from 9 to 1, and it went from 9 to maybe 1:30.
Okay, so it was a little late, but not too
long,
late.
but not bad. And it was already getting up into the hundreds, and it was just miserable. So,
but we made it through and we survived.
I'm going to this amazing festival. It's at my house. It has air conditioning and refrigerated everything and plumbing and running water. And that's where I'm going to be for the rest of the summer. Thank you very much.
I've heard about this.
Summer Palooza at my house.
Stay at home fest.
Invite only.
Starring air conditioning and the beer fridge.
If only they delivered beer, right?
No crowds.
No crowds. No lines for the bathroom.
And then we went on another adventure after that was not steampunk at all, but we had a good time.
We did.
And that's why we didn't record.
Right.
Yeah. We won't get too much into it, but we went to an escape room.
Oh, yeah, we did the escape room. Okay, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that instead of recording because, we want to have fun. Not that this isn't fun. I really enjoy doing this.
Yes.
But escape rooms are cool.
Yes.
Yep.
We've done like 5 of them now.
And
shout
have
out to
not
Lockout
failed
Austin.
a single one yet.
It's a fun time if you enjoy solving puzzles and having a good time.
Yep.
Check it out.
We did dress up. We were the castaways from Gilligan's Island. That's all we need to say. I was
Right.
Gilligan.
And apparently Russ Argo has one planned for us that's an Egyptian-themed escape room. So we're going to be dressing up sort of Indiana Jones
Yes,
and pith
I'm going to wear my pith helmet. Yeah, that's going to
Yes,
be that's
we can
gonna be a
do
blast.
the English adventure for that one.
we can talk about that one when we do it.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
That fits the mod.
Right. Okay.
Model here.
So that's why we did not record this weekend and why we're running late.
We regret nothing.
It was fun. So let's move on. Well, Tuesday we had. Wait, we're not going to do that one yet. Let's back up.
I got a
review.
book.
Yeah. You have a book review.
Okay, so I finished this.
What did you read?
A couple weeks ago? I read Gideon Smith and the Mechanical Girl by David Barnett, and I've got a little.
Yeah, I gave you that book
right up here. Yeah, apparently
because I
you
bought
it
2 of them.
twice.
Because the cover, when I saw it, looked nothing like the cover I had. Completely different cover.
19th century London is the center of a vast British Empire. Airships ply the skies, and Queen Victoria presides over 3/4 of the known world, including the east coast of America, following the failed revolution of 1775. That took me a little bit, in my American pride. What do you mean we lost? What do you mean there's no... Okay. So we just kept reading it. We'll just try to
Alternate
choke
history.
it down.
It's okay.
Right.
London might as well be a world away from Sandsend, a tiny village in the Yorkshire coast. Gideon Smith dreams of adventure promised him by the lurid tales of Captain Lucius Trigger, the hero of the Empire, told in Gideon's favorite Penny Dreadful. But when Gideon's father is lost at sea in highly mysterious circumstances, Gideon is convinced that supernatural forces are at work. Deciding only that Captain Lucius Trigger himself can aid him, Gideon sets off for London. On the way, he rescues a mysterious mechanical girl, Maria, from a tumbled-down house of shadows and iniquities. Together they go to London, where Gideon is finally meets Captain Trigger, and it goes on and on. I don't want to spoil anything else here, but
So, did you like the book?
I did like the book. It seemed a little bit disjointed at first. There's a lot of characters are introduced sort of willy-nilly, it seemed like, but it read kind of like a Penny Dreadful in itself.
Okay, cool.
Every few chapters we are introduced to new characters, and the author borrows heavily from other sources. So you've got vampires and Count Dracula and his...
Oh, the Count himself.
The Count is dead, but you get to be introduced to his wife.
Oh, okay. The bride of Dracula.
Yes. You get to be introduced to... what's his name? The doctor from the Dracula book.
Van Helsing?
Van Helsing plays a role. And for a while, I'm just like, why is he in this book? I don't understand why we're following these two characters around at all. And I don't think that was ever really resolved very well. It felt like add-ons. But I was okay with that. I went with it because it's a Penny Dreadful and they're kind of goofy that way.
Right. So did it fit the steampunk? Our definition of steampunk?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's definitely a steampunk book.
It was not. I wouldn't call it anti-establishment. It was more of an adventure theme.
Okay.
But it hits the other two squarely.
Mechanical girl, I'm assuming.
Right. He meets an automaton girl who is partly made by a Dr. Einstein, but not like Albert Einstein, the physicist, like some sort of weird, quacky inventor Einstein that you never meet. His name is just thrown out there.
Okay.
And she's partly made from a artifact that was found in Egypt that had been brought back supposedly by Lucius Trigger himself, because all the stories of Captain Lucius Trigger are real and true.
Oh, of course.
According to his own Penny Dreadful.
Of course, yeah.
Which is why Gideon Smith, wants to find him.
Unlike the legend Penny Dreadfuls from the TV show we were watching.
Right.
They were just books.
Just like that. But is a good run. There's a little bit of mystery in it as you're putting these very strange clues together to make it, and the writer does a good job of piecing it all together to make a clean narrative that gets you from A to B to C. The big overblowing ending, where everybody comes together and there's the big fights and everything. That was pretty cool.
So did it come to an actual ending, or is it there a continuation? Because honestly, I saw 2 other books written by the same guy that were, I guess, parts 2 or 3 of whatever this series is at the Half Price Bookstore. So there's more books in this series.
It does conclude, but it doesn't tie up all the loose ends.
Okay.
So there isn't a entirely satisfying conclusion, done and done.
Okay, that's why there's more books. Okay. So
Which I liked. I liked the fact that, the bad guy didn't get away, but but some things ran amok, and
It's just left out there.
It's it leads you on to the next adventure.
Yeah. So if you're interested, it's at the Half Price Bookstore right now.
I guess I'm going to have to make
Like I said, I didn't buy them because I hadn't read the first book yet, so I didn't know if I was going to like them. So, I'm not going to buy books that I don't know about yet.
Right. I understand.
You've already got a big enough backlog as
Yes,
it is.
I do. I have a huge backlog.
Yeah. Yeah,
Books
me too.
to read.
I have more books than I think I can ever read. But of course, I need to buy more because I'm crazy.
They keep writing them. What's
What
you
am I
going to
supposed
do?
So you give it a thumbs up. I'm thinking.
I do give it a thumbs up. There were perhaps too many characters, so some of them felt a bit
and it's not,
underdeveloped.
It's not even a really huge, thick book either. It's regular size. I mean,
Yeah, it's easy reading. It's a little
Couple hundred
bubblegummy.
pages.
yeah. It's not like Game of Thrones thick.
No.
No.
Or it's not even half that thick, actually.
It's got the feel of a Penny Dreadful, but it is a full book's worth of reading. The hero is heroic, and he does go through some character development, but he remains the hero. There's no major
Character flaw.
no character flaw except for him being naive.
Okay.
And so that sort of resolved through the book. And
He's not like a raging alcoholic or an asshole or anything like that.
no, but there are characters who are those
Right.
things.
I mean, well, there are some heroes out there that are raging alcoholics or
Right.
assholes or whatever, in other books.
But by the end of the book, the alcoholic is still an alcoholic. The raging asshole is still a raging asshole. Well, the alcoholic isn't as an asshole as he used to be, or maybe I'm just used to it now. I'm not really sure.
You just got grown used to him. He ain't so bad after all.
What's his name again from Dracula? Dr. Von Helsing. I expected them to kill him off because he seemed, of all the characters, he's sort of the weakest one as far as interesting. But no, he's still around.
So maybe he'll get a storyline at some
Bit
point.
of a spoiler there.
Worth it.
So he I assume will also will show up in a future book, if not the very next one. I'm not really sure. Like I said, the author has no problem pulling from different sources.
Right.
This has a bit of a Lovecraftian bent to it.
Oh.
There's some references to a university in New England, but they doesn't call it the same name, but you know what he's talking about.
You know what you're talking about?
Right?
Okay.
And if that's okay with you, if you feel like you're reading sort of a overdeveloped fanfic, that's okay, because it's a good fanfic. It's fun. I'm looking on Google Books, and they give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And yeah, it's about
Kind of agree with that. Okay.
It's not great literature, but it's a fun ride.
Okay.
And I'll buy the next book.
Awesome.
Yeah, check it out.
And I look forward to eventually getting around to reading it myself.
Me
Whenever
next.
that may be.
I'll read yours next, Thax.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So now, well, let's see. Tuesday we had our Gears and Beers meetup,
Right?
but it turned into more of a meeting for Thax.
A planning meeting.
Wow.
A planning meeting. So we're going to call this a commercial. Thax, what are you doing with this? What was this meeting about? What's happening that you want to talk about?
Okay, so my friend Lisa Lamar, she's into belly dance and Middle Eastern dance, and she runs dance events across the year occasionally. And this started because she posted an event for November, and she just called it Steampunk. And I'm like, hello, what?
Right, got my attention.
That's in my wheelhouse. What's all this about? What are you doing? And she was just having another belly dance night that she sort of envisioned as steampunk themed, and I said, but we could do so more. we could make it a whole day event, and we could have vendors and fun games and presentations, and we could make this
Dirigible races.
a real
a thing.
a fun thing all day long, and get more people to see your show. And would you be interested in that sort of thing? And despite my terrible suggestion, she said yes. She wanted to do that. She'd love to expand this thing.
I wouldn't call it a terrible suggestion.
Neither would she. Apparently, this interested her greatly, and so for the last couple months, I've been trying to talk to her and get an actual sit down where we could say, this is what we want to do. These are the things that I'm envisioning. What do you think of this? And she was down with all the ideas that I was throwing out there. And so this is turning into an event, like an all day, a 1 day, sort of like a Renaissance fair, but steampunk fair day, a pleasure fair day at the
J. Lorraine
Ghost Town, which we talked about before and had gone to events at before. It's a fantastic space. Yeah, you've heard it all before. And we've wanted to have some sort of steampunk event there because it's begging for it, and so hopefully we can make this happen.
Yes, hopefully.
It is scheduled for Sunday, November the 5th, and I am now looking for vendors who would like to vend there, and presenters who would like to present like what their local club is doing. Like if you've got an airship crew that does things or makes up stories or whatever it is you do, if you'd like to make a presentation of that sort of thing, I would like to hear about it, and I would like to make some arrangements. It's all outdoors. There really isn't going to be any covered space for booths. So if you want a booth with covering, you need to bring a pop-up. You need to bring your own table and chairs. But if you want to vend, 10 by 10 foot space is only going to be $20 cash or $40 of inventory that we can raffle off, whichever is best for you. If you'd like to do a presentation with your own, table, you can get your 10 by 10 foot square space as well for nothing, but you can't sell stuff there. It's purely, promoting your group or your project or whatever it is you're doing, because we want to see those things. We're very interested in them. Yeah, it shouldn't cost you anything.
Yeah, if you make stuff and just want to show it off kind of thing.
I want to find those people, and I want to give them a venue to show off their cool stuff.
So I have in my mind sort of a mental image of Steampunk Square in Dickens on the Strand, where all around the edges there's kind of vendors, and then in the middle the airship has their weapons and gadgets displayed.
And
that
they
you
have
can
a
just
stage
kind of
off to the
walk
side,
through
didn't
and look at stuff. So that's kind of what I have in my mind, is kind of a good mix of vendors selling neat stuff and then like guns and gadgets and steampunk goodies to look at.
Or science displays.
Science, yes.
If I could sucker
Edwin
or
Daniel
J. Bennis.
Ooh, Daniel's famous now, though, you guys.
He's going to charge.
I'm sure we could work something out, in beers or something.
Right.
We talked to Lisa Turner about her Turner's Tokens Tribune.
Yeah.
And I think, if she'd like to just have the presentation of that periodical that she wants to do, she might choose to vend. I don't know. I haven't talked to her about it, but I see her fitting in a different places. We know lots of people.
A lot of local people too. So
yeah.
It's not very far to go.
It's going to be a small event. We're shooting for 100 people, patrons, to show up. So it's not going to be huge, but it's a start. It's a first attempt at an event, and it might go over gangbusters. We might get 200 people. I don't know.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Hey, now we're dreaming.
Woo.
Although I know some of you might be thinking, well, what about Steampunk November? It's like, this is not in competition with Steampunk November.
Steampunk November takes
it's a different
place.
weekend.
A different weekend.
It's a different weekend, and there's nothing wrong with having two steampunk things going on in the same month.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You can go to Maynard, Texas one weekend and go to Dallas the next weekend.
Well, we're going to.
Yeah, we're definitely going.
We're going to Steampunk November.
Hell yeah.
Steampunk November is the next weekend. So you can come to this on Sunday.
Then you have an entire week to recover.
It's a free and open event, so I'm hoping we can pull in some people who are not fully committed to steampunk, that are new, that don't know
the curious,
about. Yeah, the steam curious, and get them interested and excited. And then for the rest of us, we can go to Steampunk November, which is an event by steampunks for steampunks. It's our playtime for reals.
Yep.
That we don't miss anything. We can have a good time all the time. That's what we do.
Sounds like a good thing to me. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you're interested in vending, contact Thax.
Yay!
And you can contact me through the Texas Steampunk Connection, or, look me up personally on Facebook and send me a message. Whatever. I'm
Austin
open.
Steampunk Society.
Yeah, I've posted there. I've posted to the Central Texas Steampunk Society.
And there's an event page already set up for it, right?
I think there's more than one at this point.
Yeah, I think the Ghost Town put one up as well. Yeah.
All right. So we've got lots of ways of getting in touch with the organizers, and we really want this to be a community effort.
Because she's looking forward to doing it more than just this one time. If it works out, she'll consider doing it again.
So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Let's do this thing. Let's have a good time. Let's see where this can go. It'll be great.
I agree. Now Erica has a reading for us. What are you reading again?
I am reading from Ida Pfeiffer's Travels, and I'm afraid that if you recall from our readings of Frost's Etiquette, when Frost mentioned the deplorable habit of some travelers where all they can do is complain about everywhere they've been as being not as good at home as being at home.
Yeah.
Ida Pfeiffer was one of these.
Oh no.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now, this book that you're reading, this is the one that you recommended last show that was on Kindle for free.
I had just started reading it at that point, yes.
Okay.
And I was very fascinated because Ida Pfeiffer began her travels at the ripe age of 45 years old.
Ooh, that's old back then, right?
Yes, after being a widow and having seen her children into productive adulthood, she finally felt free to pursue her own dream of traveling the world. And she did travel considerable distances, an amazing amount.
Like she toured the Middle East.
She toured the Middle East. She went to Brazil. I'm going to be reading about her Brazil travels. She did a lot of traveling, and it was really very remarkable for a woman at that time to do this much traveling, especially by herself, especially as she was not a member of the nobility or, a diplomat's wife or any such, trappings or titles. She was just a regular person who decided, I'm going to go traveling. So in that way, very admirable. But as you read, you find that she is rather constricted by the prejudices of her time.
Let's get into it.
All right. Chapter 2, Journey Around the World. Prompted by a boundless thirst for knowledge and an insatiable desire to see new places and new things, Madame Pfeiffer left Vienna on the 1st of May, 1846, and proceeded to Hamburg, where she embarked on board a Danish brig, the Caroline, for Rio Janeiro. As the voyage was divested of romantic incidents, we shall land the reader without delay at the great seaport of the Brazilian Empire. The traveler's description of it is not very favorably colored. The streets are dirty, and the houses, even the public buildings, insignificant. The imperial palace has not the slightest architectural pretensions. The finest square is the Largo de Roico, but this would not be admitted into Belgravia. It is impossible to speak in high terms, even of the churches, the interior of which is not less disappointing than their exterior. And as is the town, so are the inhabitants. Most writers, and I'm skipping the racist stuff. Okay, should I skip the racist
Yes.
stuff? Okay. Most writers indulge in glowing descriptions of scenery and climate of Brazil, of the cloudless radiant sky, of the magic of the never-ending spring. Madame Ida Pfeiffer admits that the vegetation is richer, the soil more fruitful, and nature more exuberantly active than in any other part of the world. But still, she says, it must not be thought that all is good and beautiful, and that there is nothing to weaken the powerful effect of the first impression. The constant blaze of color after a while begins to weary. The eye wants rest. The monotony of the verdure oppresses, and we begin to understand that the true loveliness of spring is only rightly appreciated when it succeeds the harsher aspects of winter. The next section is entitled Invasion of Ants.
Uh-oh.
Europeans suffer much from the climate. The moisture is very considerable and renders the heat, which in the hot months rises to 99 degrees in the shade and 122 in the sun, more difficult to bear. Fogs and mists are disagreeably common, and the whole tracts of the country are often veiled by an impenetrable mist. The Brazils suffer too from a plague of insects, from mosquitoes, ants, and sand fleas against the attacks of which the traveler finds it difficult to defend himself. The ants often appear in trains of immeasurable length and pursue their march over every obstacle that stands in the way. Madame Pfeiffer, during her residence at a friend's house, beheld the advance of a swarm of this description. It was really interesting to see what a regular line they formed. Nothing could make them deviate from the direction which they had first determined. It is possible to some extent to protect provisions against their attacks by placing the legs of tables in basins filled with water. Clothes and linen are enclosed in tightly fitting tin canisters. The worst plague of all, however, are the sand fleas, which attach themselves to one's toes, underneath the nail, or sometimes the soles of the feet. When a person feels an irritation in these parts, he must immediately look at the place, and if he discern a tiny black point surrounded by a small white ring, the former is the chigo or sand flea. Chiggers, they're everywhere. And the latter, the eggs, which it has deposited in the flesh. The first thing to be done is to loosen the skin all around as far as the white skin is visible. The whole deposit is then extracted and a little snuff strewn in the empty space. The blacks perform this operation with considerable skill.
Oh my God.
That's not the most racist thing in this chapter.
Oh, I know.
I know.
It's making me itchy just thinking about this, though.
Rich as the Brazils are in natural productions, they are wanting in many articles which Europeans regard as of the first importance. There are sugar and coffee, it is true, but no corn, no potatoes, and none of our delightful varieties of fruit. The flour of manioc, obtained from the cassava plant, which forms a staple portion of almost every dish, supplies the place of bread, but it is far from being so nutritious and strengthening, while the different kinds of sweet-tasting roots are far inferior in value to our potato. The only fruit which Madame Pfeiffer thought really excellent were the oranges, bananas, and mangoes. The pineapples are neither very sweet nor very fragrant. And with regard to two most important articles of consumption, the milk is very watery and the meat very dry.
Dry meat in Brazil?
Yeah. That's
Do they cook it different down there than they do with the Brazilian
I'm
steakhouse
thinking
here?
her hostess just couldn't cook because we have been to Brazilian steakhouses
And they're awesome.
and they're amazing.
yeah. So
there should be
I've
a
taken
warning that anybody who reads this book, there is a bunch of
There
racist
is
stuff
a
in there.
lot of racist stuff.
super like, oh my God.
Yeah, she rails against the Negroes and the mulattoes and the Indians and the Chinese.
And about how ugly everyone is.
Yes.
So ugly.
Except for the Portuguese, they're sort of attractive. But it's just awful. It's really very shocking and offensive. And of course, at the time that this was written, that sort of attitude was very prevalent and no one said or thought anything about it. It's like, oh yeah, you travel everywhere and there's all these inferior colored people hanging around. And it's just like, wow. It really kind of puts you off.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but Frost's Book of Etiquette that you usually read, Mrs. Frost is American, right?
That's correct.
And Ida Pfeiffer is European.
That's correct.
I don't know if that has any impact on their views of the world, but I imagine
Probably
it must
a little bit, yeah.
to some degree. that Mrs. Pfeiffer, feels very comfortable in getting away with being a raving racist. So many words that I don't even. And Frost, though she probably had her own shortcomings.
There are some passages in Frost which suggest that there was some American racism as well.
But she had
but not as blatant as this.
She had the good breeding enough to know to keep her mouth shut, more or less, in regard to delicate matters. I hope. I don't know.
Mrs. Frost suggested that when you travel, you sort of relax your sphincter a bit. that you relax your prejudices a bit, and that you go with what your
when in Rome.
Right. You go to other countries, you participate in the cultures there, and you accept whatever is customary there, and you try to keep an open mind, which for the time that Frost Etiquette was written, that's kind of an amazing attitude to have.
Yeah.
Whereas Mrs. Pfeiffer is apparently traveling the world and looking down on all of these people's cultures. And
Makes you kind of wonder why she wanted to travel.
it does make you wonder why.
I think maybe she's coming from a position of safety in Austria, I guess. Mm-hmm. No one is threatening her life or livelihood in the least there.
Right.
But in America, it's even in New York and Philadelphia, the wilderness is not that far off. The Wild West is at your doorstep, and you have to be a good neighbor, whether you think that the native peoples are ugly or not.
Right. And later on in this chapter, Mrs. Pfeiffer does have a run-in with a Negro who brandishes a knife at her and her traveling companion. And
He was probably sick of her shit, too.
And it indicates by gestures that he intends to murder them and drag them off into the bushes.
In that order?
I believe so.
Well, that's just odd.
Well, anyway, she does escape. It's interesting reading. It certainly provides a different viewpoint. It really kind of makes me want to go to Brazil.
Oh, I want to go to Brazil anyway. I mean, despite her reports, I'm of the
Well, they don't have corn and potatoes.
She didn't like all the colors.
They do have potatoes now. Now they have potatoes, but
And the pineapples are no good.
Brazil.
I don't think we have any more else to say, really.
Potatoes are how do they say? They're a waste of your time when there's good meat to eat. You can get meat.
I can agree with that.
You can buckets full of
even at the
grilled meats.
Yeah, the restaurants we go to, the steakhouses here, they'll give us tons and tons of meat, and they give us a little bitty bowl of mashed potatoes.
Because they know you're not going to touch
Just
it.
get
Right.
those.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to say that I don't recommend this book, but I will say there are a lot of racial things in it that are very uncomfortable to read.
So you
But
really
it's-
have to brace your
It's
constitution for an obnoxious Austrian woman.
It's still very interesting to read. She goes on and she tours a manioc plantation where she learns how the manioc root is harvested and processed.
I was going to say, what is that?
Manioc is apparently the staple food of Brazil at the time that she travels there.
So
It's a starchy root vegetable.
It's like a tuber?
It's a tuber, and they dig it up and they grind it into a fine powder. They dry it, and then they make it into a paste, which they just sort of eat like pudding, I guess. It's just a starchy, or they make it into like a kind of a flatbread, and that's
A tortilla.
yeah, and that's their staple food. They don't have wheat, obviously. They don't have potatoes, so they have manioc instead. And then she goes to a coffee plantation where she remarks that the Negroes just don't have to work very hard.
Oh, God.
Oh my God! And describes how the coffee berries are harvested
I
and
just want to
dried.
slap this woman.
I am reaching back in time and slapping you, Ida Pfeiffer.
Wow.
But
Solicitations from
but-
Frost.
reading between the lines, you do see that the Europeans were extremely dependent on the labor of the natives and the people of color. It's pretty amazing to think about.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, well.
That was a very educational part of our show today.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much.
Free on Amazon.
Just brace yourself
Yeah,
for some uncomfortable reading, but otherwise an adventure. So I think we're going to take a break. We're going to put on some music and then give you a little bit of what's going on in the rest of the month or next month as well.
So be right back.
Like a Christian.
You came home last night and seemed far away. I could not believe that you were alright with everything. Night is the key that unravels everything when it all comes down. And people tend to erupt without a sound. I know you don't like how I feel, but please try to remember it's natural for a thing like me. Electricity is in my soul. Electricity is in my soul. I snuck outside once you fell asleep, and I walked down the road to give my electronics an overload. I know you don't like how I feel, but please try to remember it's natural for a thing like me. Electricity is in my soul. Electricity is in my soul. Electricity is in my soul. Electricity is in my Electricity is in my soul.
Well, that was Steam Powered Giraffe, Electricity in My Soul. That's an old school. That's from their first album, and I really enjoyed it. We saw them live at least three
Couple of
times
times.
now. 2 or 3 times, and every time they were a really good show.
The first event we ever went to in Austin.
Yeah,
that they
that
played.
was my first steampunk event ever. Big
Clockwork Con.
Yeah, Clockwork Con.
Yeah,
And
they never had it again.
I know it was so sad, but it introduced me to Steam Powered Giraffe, and I really enjoyed that concert. It was really fun. But they're out of California. They don't come out here as often as they used to. But
Right, so you got to throw some money at them.
and they're a completely different band now for the most part. They've changed a lot.
Yes, they have. Yes,
Literally. So, anyway, what's coming up this month? First off, July 29th, there are 2 different things. First off, in the afternoon, July 29th is the Pflugerville Library presents the Weird West Roundup. They have games of Nerfly marksmanship and quick draw contests and duels. They want you to have a dress up. They have a costume contest for groups and individuals. So dress up in your Weird West steampunk garb and go check them out. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. So it's not an all day event, but it sounds like it could be kind of fun.
and Nerfly.
And Nerfly, a lot of Nerf guns flying around.
It's Nerf or nothing.
It sounds definitely family friendly. So dress up your children and let them shoot each other.
It will
with
shoot
Nerf
you.
guns.
Oh.
But for more of the adults, that night we talked about this last time, is the Gothic Prom. Now, as we said, it's not really steampunk per se, but there is some crossover.
Definitely.
Because like they say, steampunks are just goths who found brown.
Boo. But yeah, kind of.
And we've hung out with them before at some events. Well, particularly one event, it was a bat ride, boat ride that we did with Russ Argo a while back. But anyway, DJ Neff and DJ Crescent Doll cordially invite you to a night of darkness, splendor, and crepe paper. Shake on the shadows and dust off your dandy
Crepe
duds.
paper.
Crepe?
No.
Great.
Creepy paper. No.
I think you get those at International House of Pancakes. They're delicious.
Anyway, so basically it's going to be a bunch of goth people in July at Elysium. So VIP tickets are available for $10, $12 at the door. There may or may not be any left by now. General admission, that's $5 if you buy it in advance, $7 at the door. They're going to have a specialty drink menu, which will be featured for the evening. Drinks to be announced, so stay tuned. They haven't announced them yet.
And extra AC.
An extra AC. They're going to have a prom king and queen. So, I'm going to set up a link. I'm going to set up a link to the event, and they have other links for buying tickets. And it sounds like
Just follow the things.
very gothy time. So that's it for July. So we have a few things in August coming up.
Getting into August.
Right.
Who's first?
I have an event at the Hideout Theater. It's called Click Click Whir, a rhythmic steampunk adventure. Saturdays at 6 p.m. in August. Powered by newfangled inventions and a percussive soundtrack created by the cast on the spot, Click Click Whir brings a steampunk sensibility to never-before-seen, completely improvised stories exploring Victorian London. Time, space, class, and culture will collide in tales reminiscent of a quaint Dickens story or a cheeky Austen novel with a sci-fi slant. All made up in the moment. From its streets to its manners, our London is loud and rhythmic, and its driving pulse cobbled from objects at hand. Wind up your clocks, load your hydraulic revolver, and for goodness sakes, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget your opera glasses.
Of course not. Okay, so it's an improv show.
Right, Saturdays at 6.
Yeah, the Hideout is
in
improv.
August
There's a
at
lot
the
of-
Hideout.
Okay.
We have been to the Hideout before, and it is always a good time. They have excellent coffee.
It's right. Yeah, the stage is right above a coffee shop. Yeah.
Right, the coffee is fantastic.
And-
It's a great place.
And they're doing this every Saturday the month of August.
Yep.
And since it's improv, it's a new show
Every time.
Every time.
And the Hideout Theater's website does have tickets available in advance for $10 a person, which is an excellent price
Yeah,
for a
we
good
need-
time.
We need to pick a weekend and go.
Yes, we'll post up when we're going to be going, and we'll go in garb, of course.
We could go well,
Well, no, we have other things to do in August as well.
We have a lot of stuff going on.
what if we really like this?
Well, then I guess we'll have to go more than once.
Okay, one weekend I'm not going to be able to make it is August 18th because I will be attending CTC Geek Fest.
Always a good time every
at
year.
Central Texas College. which is around the Killeen area. I have gone every year for the last, I think, 5 years now. I'm bringing it up because the Central Texas Steampunk Society started their group last year at the Geek Fest, and I know they have a presentation booth that they are running this year, and they're going to be running around all over the place in their steampunk finery. And if you live anywhere close to Killeen, it's a great place to rub elbows and meet new people and get more involved with them. But it's also just an awesome venue for geekdom, be it comic books,
Cake
Games.
decorating.
anime, robots, zombies.
Cosplay.
I love this con because it is so diverse. It's a university con that I don't see those much anymore, but I remember them in college, and they just do whatever they want.
SCA, Amped Guard.
Yeah. All the good
It's
things.
all there.
So check it out. It
Board
costs,
games, card
It costs
games.
nothing to get in.
Video games.
You can get a paid for pass that will get you into certain sections of the convention where they're showing movies and different things. But it is not necessary for you to pay to show up and attend and find out what's going on.
Do they still do Rocky Horror at midnight?
As far as I know, the website doesn't list anything very specifically, but I do know you need to get into Rocky Horror. You do have to pay for the admission fee, which is I'm sure not expensive. Again, it doesn't list it, so bring a little cash and be ready to have a good time.
Yeah, and tons of vendors of all kinds there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Vendors
Oh, yeah.
vendors everywhere.
A lot of artists and crafters, and it's a shopping extravaganza too. And then August 24th, back in Austin, Thinkery 21, Come and Make It, hosted by the Thinkery at 1830 Simon Avenue in Austin. Obsessed with Pinterest? Are you down with DIY? Are you mad for making? Come one, come all. Thinkery 21, Come and Make It is Thursday, August 24th from 7 to 10 p.m. Grab a cocktail and a glue gun and enjoy an evening of making,
Scary combination.
tinkering, designing, and drinking, and where else? Thinkery. Yeah. Wow.
I didn't realize they were going to encourage drinking and making with glue.
Oh, but there's more. Furry treats. Austin Humane Society will bring some adorable adoptable furry friends.
That is not what I
to
was
the Thinkery. You bring the snuggles and cuddles with your drinking and your hot glue gun,
You're going to go home with a dog.
possibly attached to you. No. Make treats and toys to give to your new four-legged friends too. Make sweet, sweet music. Karaoke like a star with Alamo Drafthouse Cinema and Barrel o' Fun.
Oh, crap.
Chocolate. Join forces with Serious Chocolate to make, you guessed it, chocolate. Beer, wine, cheese pickings, and pickling. Oh my. Learn the art of homebrewing with the team from Austin Homebrew Supply and enjoy delicious samples of beer, wine, cheese, and pickles.
I'm there. Okay.
Lord of the Swords. Experience the wonders of Bronze Age technology by learning to sandcast a bronze sword with the sword casting guy. This goes on and on.
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Lasers make it awesome. Coast over to Lasers make for a custom laser made coaster. What's cooking good looking? Increase your Texas cooking cred by mastering salsa and tortilla making.
Tortilla making is not easy.
Metal therapy. Transform a penny into a design that makes sense to you. Illuminating origami.
Illuminati origami?
That's cool.
Get ready for Creek Show 2017 with Waller Creek Conservancy and Murray Leg Architecture by creating your own light-based art piece.
Ooh, that's cool. We went to
Glow
the Waller
for it.
Creek thing.
Silk screen, a glow-in-the-dark patch alongside with Other Worlds Austin. Come and disassemble it. Get the breakdown as you break apart household electronics and items with the A2X Hackerspace. We're all booked. Sew a book by hand, decorate and letterpress print with Austin Book Arts Center. Nailed it! More like failed it. Check out our curated gallery of Pinterest fails.
Awesome.
Meme team. Create your meme, a meme of your very own. More event details coming soon. That is a lot of
More
events already.
Yeah, that sounds like that's.
It sounds like I'll be able to avoid the karaoke very nicely.
There's tons of other things to be doing. Yeah.
And they're going to slam all of that into 3 hours on a Thursday.
Wow.
Wow. I'm not going to work that Friday.
Yeah. That sounds like a good time. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff going on.
Wow.
So if you're a maker of any kind, apparently, literally any kind of making, looks like they're looking into it.
Yeah. And that rounds out August as far as we know it thus far.
Yep. So if you know of anything, let us know, and we'll definitely bring it up, or at least put it on our site on Facebook, and which is where you can contact us at Facebook.
And it has become quite difficult to find what's going on in the summer. I don't know if... I mean, it does seem that those things are happening, but also I'm not seeing people using Facebook the way they used to, which makes it more difficult for us.
Right, so we need sources. And an example, my roommate just came down and mentioned, hey, my friend's in a steampunk play. And we had no clue.
Yeah, click, were. The thing that I'm definitely going to see this next month, we just found out about. Had no idea.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you know something that we haven't mentioned thus far, tell us. Please send us a message. We check our inboxes daily because it's easier than working.
or if you don't want to direct message us, like I said, just put it on our page. Share it on our page and let us know.
Or if you want to make comments about anything else you heard on this episode, if you were offended by Ida Pfeiffer, as we all were.
Is anyone else reading this? I want to know what you think.
Send all complaints to Ida Pfeiffer directly.
Do we have anything else to add?
I think that's everything. So, until next time,
mind your gauges.
Thanks for listening. This has been the Texas Steampunk Connection. Opening music was The Texas Steer Rag by George Botsford, recorded in 1909.
Please like us on Facebook at Texas Steampunk Connection.
where you will find the links to all the topics we talked about in this episode.
Until next time,
Mind your gauges.